Shine, shine your light. Shine, shine, shine your light. Shine, shine, shine your light. Hello, 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 hello. It's Nancy Maddox on Shine Your Light Radio Ministry on WYTV7, broadcasted on iHeartRadio. I'm so excited about our interview today. We have a very, very special guest that is an awesome woman, Black CEO, and also a published author of 8 books, an award-winning, conference-setting, sip and chat person that's just a fantastic person. Her name is Miss Author T, or Teresa Browning. So I welcome you today, Miss Author T, to my show and to everything going. Before we get to going and I start asking you questions, I'd like to just say that WYTV7 is a 501c3 and not-for-profit, and we would love to have a seed planted in WYTV7. And what we use those seeds for and those donations for is to broadcast our shows across the world. And we boost those sales, and we try to really make everybody aware of what we're doing so they can listen to the Christian Broadcasting Network, WYTV7. Also, we upload on YouTube, so you get more exposure, as well as iHeartRadio. So without further ado, let's get started. Miss Author T, please introduce yourself to us and tell us a little bit about your story, where you came from, and what you're going to do.
First, welcome, Nancy. I do appreciate you having me on your broadcast, because it's just an honor and a privilege just to be with you this morning. My name is Teresa Mason Browning, aka Miss Author T for social media. I have been in the arena of being a writer for 22 years, and I have slowly built up my fan base. And just to make a small correction, because I don't want to get ahead of myself, Nancy, I got 6 books.
Okay.
I have 2 coming. I'm working on 2, but they're not quite ready yet. But I do have 6 books total, and that's something I'm very passionate about. And I'm also passionate about being a motivational speaker and a life coach. That's something that I do daily, and I can't do it without having God in my life first.
That's fantastic. What got you on this path, Miss Author T?
Well, you know what? Long ago, this lady went through a whole lot. So instead of continuing to be the victim, I wanted to become the victor. And so I started to talk to other people about what I had went through. And one of my closest friends, Marcia Conyers, said, I read your diary. Why don't you write a book? She said, you have a fantastic way of telling a story. And I was like, you got to be joking. And she was serious. And I was like, no. So, after I left my domestic violence situation, she gave me an envelope. And she said, when you reach your next destination, she said, look into this envelope. And what was in the envelope said to me, here's your first $500. Make it happen, because you are a writer. The writer is in you. You just have to see that you're that writer.
Wow, what motivation. What a beautiful spirit to do that for you. Which book is your first book?
My first book is Why I Kept My Past a Secret.
Why I Kept My Past a Secret. And
Yes.
is that a true story, or is that a novel?
It's a novel. It's based on a true story, but of course, if you don't have everyone's permission to use their names, of course, we have to put it in a fiction form.
Okay, I got you. I understand that. Wow. We're going to go over your books a little bit later on in the interview, but how has God helped you through everything that you've been through? And can you name just something specific that you can recall that God's done for you?
Well, back in 2004, I went to prison. and I had to reach way down. And I knew when I went behind that gate, I had to have God with me, because he was going to be the only way that I was going to be able to leave that place, because it was a very dark place. So being behind a prison gate, having young children, and not knowing whether you would survive day to day was a hard pill to swallow. So I had to take the spirit of Christ that's in me and say, okay, God, be the driving force to everything that's going to proceed from this day forward. And I did 2.5 years behind a prison gate, but God kept me when I couldn't keep myself. And when I was close, I had a breakdown. God was still there because he rocked me when I couldn't rock myself. He gave me the strength to climb out of the dark place that I was in and back into society.
Wow, what a testimony. Don't we serve an awesome God?
Yes, we do.
Oh my goodness. I never ever dreamed that I would get that answer from you. But thank you so much for sharing. You're such an encouragement, and you're such an excellent motivational speaker and a coach to help people. And Shine Your Light has a prison ministry that we're kicking off, where we're actually going to be going into the prisons, giving them guiding them to write their story, because everyone in prison has a story, and let them start a stream of income, so when they get into the reentry program, they'll have a slight stream of income by publishing their books. And we're going to publish their books. Divine Excellence Consulting and I are going to publish their books. We're going to get grants to pay for the publishing. So I would love to have you involved with that, because I need people that have been in prison to help me with that, because it's difficult to get in, but it's going to be such an awesome program, very affordable for people to be able to help write their story and have a stream of income once they re-enter. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm happy that you shared that with me. I thank you so much. I think that will help a lot of people. Now I'd like to get into a little bit about your books and what you've done with those. I see I had 8 on here that I printed off that I saw. So 2 of them must not have been finished yet. But you had why I left. What is it? Why I kept my mistake a secret. And then didn't you have a second book about that too? Is that getting ready to come out?
No. What it is that why I kept my past a secret. Now that the secrets are out, and living free of the secrets is the Secret Trilogy. And that basically starts the cycle of overcoming domestic violence and rape and dysfunctional families. Those books have already been written and come out, and they've done very, very well.
Wow, that's fantastic. I love that. And the covers on the book are absolutely beautiful from what I've seen. So all of you that are listening, please take note of this interview and listen to Miss Author T, Teresa Mason Browning, and order her books and take a look at. You will be so encouraged and so blessed by reading her books. So tell me about the other books that you've written too.
I've written a Black Man's Pain, and I wrote that book in essence to put kings where they should be. We see more books written about what women go through, but have we ever thought about what a man goes through? Have we ever thought about what he might see or don't see, or have or don't have? And I chose to write about a book about a man, because I wanted people to see a man hurts just like a woman. He goes through domestic violence. He goes through custody battles, child support issues, love and not having it, and being belittled. So I wrote a story because I wanted people to understand that they are too people, and that we need to respect who they are. And if we shall be their queens, we definitely have to host them as our kings. And rightfully so. If they're doing what they're supposed to do, then they are martyred as kings. So I wrote a book in essence to about what a young man went through from birth all the way up to his adult life. And I wanted to show the trials and tribulations of they can go through it just like we can, put the shoe on the other foot. But I didn't belittle the man. I put him up where he should be so that they know there are some good men out here. You just have to see the good in them.
Wow. Oh, wow. Your books are just getting more and more interesting as we go along, Miss Author T. I'm just so excited to have you on here. I want to talk a little bit more about WYTV7 and what we do. We are a nonprofit, a 501c3, and we do take donations. Please seed into our radio station, the Christian Broadcasting Network. $5 goes a long way just to promote what we're doing, and we have, what we use the money for the donations is to try to boost our views and spread out to the world what we're doing in our interviews, because it's so motivational to everyone, such a blessing to everyone, and you are a blessing to me as well as to everyone that comes in contact with you. So talk a little bit more about a couple of your other books.
Well, my two newest novels came out in May, and the first book is entitled All That Glitters Ain't Gold, and Sitting Behind the Gates of Hell. And it was written in reflection of what a person would go through. All that glitters ain't gold is because sometimes we have in our mind that if we make this fast money, or that if we get this fast project done, all our troubles will go away. But are you leaning on your understanding and not God? Because that's what the character did. She leaned into her own understanding and she was looking for a quick fix. But what she found out is that she would end up in prison and that she would do time. And I wrote a book in reference to, what it would be to be in prison, because young people, as well as people our age, need to know you can find yourself in prison, but it's not what it cracked up to be. A lot of people think because they give you 3 cots and a meal that that's all there is. But if you're not and have never been exposed to prison, you wouldn't have any idea that you have to pay to live in prison. You have to do certain things in prison just to survive, and that the survival is real, and that if you're not careful, you could find yourself going down an even darker road. But if you choose this time to allow God to love on you and to give you what it is that you need, when you come out of prison, you'll be anew. And that's what I chose to write about.
Wow. Oh, wow. I just never dreamed that this interview would take this path. I'm so excited about your books. I can't wait to get them to read them. So tell me a little bit more about your motivational speaking and your coaching. And I understand you just received your certificate as a certified coach, right?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit more about that. Tell us about that.
You know what? Motivational speaking has always been in my life ever since I was a young girl. I just didn't know how it would spring forward. I knew that when I talked, people listened, and I knew that I had a story to tell. I also knew that I was an encouraging force to others, but it's getting that message out that can be difficult, or you may not have all the right details as to who to go to say, hey, I'd like to be on your platform. Hello, my name is Miss Author T, Teresa Mason Browning. I have a story to tell you, and it may be able to help your audience. So I can go from different places, from domestic violence and rape and dysfunctional families, and now living beyond the prison gate. Those things are crucial in this lifetime, because we want to teach our children as young as we can that if they're not careful, they could find themselves easily going down the wrong path. But that's not what God has my steps ordered. And all our steps are ordered by God, and I know that. But I know that if I'm not careful and I don't listen to the Spirit, I can find myself veering to the left or veering to the right. So I just took my motivational speaking to another level, and I want to be able to talk to women and men and let them know we are victims, have been a victim, but do you stay a victim forever? We are not defined by what we've been through. We're not defined by the 7 numbers that we were subjected to, or we're not defined by the domestic violence, the beatings, and things that have taken place. At some point in time, we have to show others. Although we've been victims, we're not victims anymore. We become victors. We help others that are in that same spot that we found ourselves in previously before. We want to give them that encouraging nudge to say, hey, I can do all things through Christ that strengthen me, if given the opportunity or giving the right coaching or giving that right encouragement. So that's what I want to be, a force to be reckoned with.
Well, and I know you will be. I know you have the spirit, and God's given you the talent to do that, and it's so very exciting to me. I too was raised in a domestic violence family. My father was a severe alcoholic, and the more he drank, the more he beat my mother and us. We had 3 children. I'm the oldest of a brother and a sister. So anyway, but I grew up through that, and I tell people all the time, you don't realize that you can't linger and be in the victim status all your life. You just have to rise up and listen to God. You have to stop, be still, and listen and move forward and use what you've been through to get other people through it, because it happens more often than we know. I can tell when there's domestic violence going on just by watching people in the mall, in their car, next door to me. I mean, I can tell. I know what the signs are. I can tell, and I just want to go interfere, but I'm like, no, I can't interfere. That's not what I'm supposed to do. God wants me to use what I've been through to help other people get through it, and that's what's created Shine Your Light. It's really so I can let other people shine their light to the world and help other people, because that's what's in my heart. I want to help people help other people. And it's just what I've done all my life and all my career. But you do have to rise above it. You do have to get out of that victim status, Miss Author T. You really do. And if you don't, then you can never get anywhere. But it's the same thing how we have to open our hearts and listen to God. We have to. And the more, and we say at WYTV7, if we turn one person around, then we've done our job. So I just absolutely love that. Now I want to switch gears a little bit and go into what you're doing on the other side as far as conferences, the conferences that you've attended, that you've spoken at. I know you had a very successful conference in Baltimore, Maryland, wasn't it? So tell us a little bit about that and how that went.
Well, you know what? My thing is that I want to be found giving. And I often hear people say, you don't look like what you've been through. And I say to people, what do you have to look like? You can't wear your life on your sleeve. Now, once upon a time, people used to say they could see my pain on my face. But I had to find another way to change that look. Because when I talk to people, I want them to understand that I've been through it, but I don't want to look like I've been through it. I want them to see that God is still working with me and that He is healing me from the inside out, and I understand that you're going to go through something in life. Nothing is ever so perfect. None of us are perfect, because He said, mark a perfect man, there's no man perfect than He. So I don't stand to be perfect, but I'm doing my best to do better. And I want to be an encouraging force to others to say, if I can do it, so can you. Because people hear my story and they say, you couldn't possibly have been through all of this. Why not? I'm God's daughter. God is not going to put on you no more than you can bear. And I've had to bear some crosses, and I'm okay with that. But I am learning to lean on God and not into my own understanding. So it allows me to talk to others and to be a light and to be a victor. And I don't go, and I had to learn this from my own children. Mama, you can't be a victim all the time. When that light bulb came on and said, well, I am the victim. You were the victim, but you're not the victim any longer. So when I say I want to be victorious, I want to be able to conquer what has held me down. I want to be able to conquer what makes me feel better. I want to be able to conquering. If I could reach that one person, I know that I've done the job that God set out for me. And my motto is, if I can believe it, I can achieve it. And I won't stop until I reach the top. So my goal is, how many people can I reach?
Wow. 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 Oh, wow. You're such a beautiful spirit. Oh my goodness. I have so many questions, and we probably are getting close on time, but I want you to, and aren't our children wonderful? Although out of the mouth of babes, they just continue to just lead us and guide us and help us through so many things and so many thoughts. And of course, it's all with the backing of God, because God makes our step and makes our path. But I always say that I always love the verse that says that He'll not put us through more than we can handle. Yeah. Always. I mean, we can always overcome everything, but our hearts have to be open. Yeah. So let's go a little bit further now. You've got some exciting news coming up in March of 2018. You're starting a tour, or a literacy tour, or I'm not sure what all we're gonna call it. I'm involved with that. I'm so excited. First one's going to be in Gaffney, South Carolina. So let's chat a little bit about that, and just tell us what your vision is and what you're trying to accomplish, and what's going to happen with that. And that's going to go to different cities. So I'm real excited about that.
The literary affair is a way of bringing readers, authors, publishers together, and book clubs together. We want to honor book clubs. We want to honor those people because they support us. And because some of us are indie writers, some people don't even know that there's talented writers out here. And because we're indie writers, we can't get into the normal mainstream of where we take literacy or where we take our books. So I came up with a vision to start the literary affair. And it's going to be a 2-day event where we bring authors together. They're going to network with one another. We're going to laugh. We're going to have some fun. And we're going to bring Sip and Chat with Miss Arthur T live. That means I'm going to put 5 featured authors on the hot seat. And we're going to talk about what they do in the industry. We're going to talk about what motivates them. We're going to talk about how they've overcome where they've been. One of them has proceeded and come out of prison and done very well. One is a romance thriller author. The other is a poetic author. So we have different authors coming to the platform. And I chose 5 different authors in 5 different genres because I wanted people to understand and feel these are the people that make reading all more worth it. So yes, we're taking the literary affair on the road, and what we're going to do is we're going to try to hit some cities that don't get that notoriety, like Gaffney, South Carolina. A lot of people don't know that there's a Gaffney, South Carolina. We're going to go to Tennessee. We're going to be in Alabama. We're actually going to go to Virginia. We're going to hit 4 in 2018. We're going to take small steps, but we want to take steps and go into venues that don't really get a lot of notoriety, but there's great authors sitting down in those little pubs that we want to bring them to what? To the light. We want to shine the light on them because they're worthy of it too. So that's our total goal, is can we bring authors and readers together so whether they know, oh my goodness, this author, Miss Author T, I didn't know that she writes books. They have a new author that they could end up following. So we're bringing 60 authors together at a time, and we're going to ask everyone to find a sheet, learn something about these 60 authors. You may know some of them and you may not know any of them, but they'll be new and discovered. And that's what we want to do, is discover some new writers that are out there.
That sounds absolutely wonderful. I know I plan on being there in Gaffney. It's on March 9th and 10th of 2018, right?
That is correct.
And we'll be posting all kind of flyers, do a lot of advertising on it. We're already doing that. And I will be there, and I really do want to do Shine Your Light Radio Ministry live. I'm going to do some live shows while I'm there, and so I'm really excited about that. So if you're coming to Gaffney, where do you have to go to get there? Do you have to fly into Atlanta or Charlotte, or where?
You know what? It depends on which area you're coming from. Most people are going to come into the Charlotte Douglas Airport.
Okay.
And that's about maybe 45 minutes to an hour away from Gaffney. So
Yes.
they can fly in, or if they're coming from Atlanta, they can come up from Atlanta doing 75 to 85. So
Okay.
It's really not that far away, depending on where you're at and which pub you're in. We're just I'm looking for people to come out and support 60 great authors that have put their sweat and tears into what it is that they do. And this is their life dream, for someone to pick up their novel and say, I have a new writer to follow. And we love the Sidney Sheltons, we love the John Grishams, we love the Maya Angelos, but there's some of those same people sitting right there that are going to be at 703 Cherokee Avenue in Gaffney, South Carolina, March the 9th and 10th. So I say, don't miss it.
I love it. And also, we're not just talking about a one day. We're talking about a beautiful, exciting affair on Friday night. It's going to be a beautiful atmosphere, a beautiful dinner. And it's not going to be anything that, it's not going to be hamburgers and French fries. It's going to be a nice affair.
Yes. And I guarantee you you're going to get more than what you're actually bargaining for, because we're laying the red carpet out. We're doing it great big, because my theory is this: if we bring authors all the way from different places, because they're coming as far as California, we want to give them a meal. We want to give them something that they can appreciate, something that when they go back to their hotel rooms, they'll say, I want more of that. I'll be back next year. And the dinner was set up in a way to give back to the authors, to show them, let's all come together collectively, network with one another, have a great meal. Miss Author T is going to put you in the hot seat. Enjoy yourself, take some pictures, and come back the next day for the big affair, which is the book affair. 60 authors will set up, and they will have an opportunity to sell their work. And I think the greatest thing that you can do is, can I meet someone new? Can I discover something about Nancy? Can I discover something about Shadris? She's coming all the way from Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri. We have them coming from different places. And I chose them that way because I don't want people to continue to think that everybody comes out of Washington, D.C., or that they come out of Los Angeles, because we have them way down in Tennessee. We have them in Alabama. We have them in Louisiana. We have them coming up from Louisiana. We have them coming up from all different places. And we want people to know we're going to shine the light on all these different voices, all these different minds collectively, and we're going to come together and have a good time. And I just want to say thank you, Nancy, for allowing me just a little bit of space to talk about that, because this is of importance, and literacy is important. And we want people to know that there are going to be children writers there, Christian writers there. There's going to be writers from all genres. So no one is excluded. So if you're a reader and that's something you want to do, please come out and fellowship with us, because it's going to be a good time.
Absolutely. It's going to be fun. And I'll be there from Arkansas. So
Yay!
central part of the country. But anyway, I'm so excited. I thank you so much for giving me some time today and allowing me to interview you, Miss Arthur T. You are an absolute joy. You are a pleasure. You're a plethora of information, and I'm so excited. So I watch on social media, all social media, for when this show's going to air, and you're going to be really excited, and it will be on iHeartRadio too. So we're going to use that to our total advantage. So I thank you so much for everything that you've done to me and taught me, and I'm just so excited. And this is going to be just a beautiful literary affair. So thank you so much. And that'll conclude our interview for today. Thank you, all the listeners, for listening. I appreciate you so much.
Have an awesome day, Nancy. Do appreciate you.
Thank you.
Shine, shine your light. Shine, shine, shine your light. Shine, shine, shine your light. Shine, shine, shine.